1,000 miles of journey start with a single step. I would also like to start my topic with beautiful greeting for the day. I am Ved Prakash Tiwari, Assistant Professor, School of Pharmacy, Baumanarsidas University, Lucknow. I am here to represent my views about very fascinating topic that is protein binding. We will start with protein binding. The interacting molecules are generally the macromolecules such as protein, DNA, or adipose. The protein are particularly responsible for such an interaction. The phenomena of complex formation of drug with protein is called as the protein binding of the drug. As a protein bound drug is neither metabolized nor excreted, hence it is pharmacologically inactive due to its pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic inertness. A reversible reaction takes place over here. Protein plus drug may be converted into protein minus drug complexes. And protein binding may be divided into two categories. First one is intracellular and second one is extracellular. Now I will discuss about some points about protein binding. Proteins such as albumin and globulin are present in the blood. In the disease state such as myocardial infarction, the level of the alpha acid glycopropene, that is short term, in this way we can say that AGP will increases. Among plasma proteins, albumin is the most important due to its higher plasma concentration. When drugs are present in the blood, it is responsible, it may be possible that these macromolecules bind to the drug. As the result, we found the protein binding influences drug action in various ways. After that, albumin binds both acidic and the basic drug. AGP binds most of the basic drug rather than the acidic drugs. Now here the different applications of the drug binding. First one is drug distribution. In drug distribution, we can say that protein binding decreases the distribution of the drug. Only free unbound drug can pass through the cell membranes and contributes to the tissue's binding. The higher the protein binding, the lower the tissue distribution. Next application is metabolism. In metabolism, we can say protein binding decreases the metabolism of the drug and enhances the biological half-life. Only that fraction of the drug which is free can get metabolized. And next application is excretion. In excretion, we can say protein binding decreases the renal excretion of the drug and enhances the biological half-life. Only the free drug can get excreted through the glomolecular filtration. And next application is drug action. In drug action, we can say protein binding inactivates the drug because of the sufficient concentration of the drug cannot be build up the receptor site for the action. For example, naphthoquinones. Certain drugs through bound to the protein still retain the drug activities. And last application is sustained release. In sustained release, we can say the complex of the drug protein in the blood acts as a reservoir and continuously supply the free drug for its action. Now, here the mechanism of the protein drug binding. Binding of the drug to proteins is generally of reversible and irreversible. Reversible generally involves weak chemical bonds such as first one is hydrogen bonds, second one is hydrophobic bonds, third one is ionic bonds, and last one is van der Waals forces. Irreversible drug binding through rare arises as a result of covalent binding and is often a reason for the carcinogenicity of or tissue toxicity of the drug. Protein drug binding involves different in steps. First step is blood drug binding to the blood components. When Drug binding to the blood components, first of all, it binds to the mainly tissue. In tissues, receptors are mainly present. When drugs are bind to the receptor and show their pharmacological responses. After that, with the help of liver, drug metabolite binding to the liver tissues. In liver, different enzymes are available. With the help of these enzymes, drug are mainly metabolites and it will converted into the biliary excretion. And kidney have a also great role in the protein drug binding or drug binding. Drug when comes in the kidney, drug binding to the renal tissues. When drug binding to the renal tissues and it excretion in the urine. Protein drug binding, binding of the drug to various tissues component and its influences on the disposition and clinical response. Note that only the unbound drug moves reversibly between the compartments. When we discuss about the first compartment, that is binding of drug to the blood components, I steps takes place over here plasma drug binding or plasma protein drug binding. In this binding, we can say the binding of drug to plasma proteins is reversible and the extent or order of binding of drug to the plasma protein, that is albumin, alpha 1 acid glycoprotein and lipoproteins, and last one is globulins. Now here the first one is binding of drug to the human serum albumin. In this way, we can say that it is the most abundant plasma protein, that is 59%, having molecular weight of 65,000 with large drug binding capacity. Both endogenous compounds such as fatty acid, bilirubin, as well as drug binds to the HSA. Four different sites on HSA for drug binding. Here the first site is warfarin and tejopropiozone binding site. Second site is diazepam binding site. Third site is digitoxin binding site, and last one is tamoxifen binding site. Now the next binding is binding of drug to alpha 1 acidic glycoproteins, that is erosomucoid. It has a molecular weight 44,000 and plasma concentration range of 0.04 to 0.1 gram percentage. It binds to the number of the basic drug like imipramine, lidocaine, propranolol, and quinidine. And next binding is binding of drug to the lipoproteins. In this binding, we can say that binding by hydrophobic bonds and non-competitive. Molecular weight is 2 to 34 lakhs Dalton and lipid core composed of the inside and outside. In inside, triglycerides and cholesterolized esters, and outside apoproteins. For example, acidic example is diclofenac, neutral is cyclosporins A, and basic is chloropromazine. Here the four types of the binding. First one is chylomicrons and VLDL and LDL, and last one is HDL. Now the last binding is binding of drug to the globulins. Here the different globulins and binds to the one is alpha 1 globulin, that is bind to the steroidal drug, and second one is alpha 2 globulin, that is bind to the vitamin A, D, E, K, and third one is beta 1 globulin, that binds to the ferrous ions, and fourth one is beta 2 globulin, that is binds to the carotenoids, and last one is gamma globulins, that is bind to the antigens. Next major binding is binding of drug to the blood cells. In the binding of drug to the blood cell, in the blood, 40% of the blood cells, of which major component is RBC, that is 95%. The RBC is 500 times in diameter as a albumin. The rate and extent of entry into RBC is more for lipophilic drug. The RBC comprises of three components mainly. First one is hemoglobin, second one is carbonic anhydrase, and third one is cell membrane. I will start with hemoglobin. It has a molecular weight of 64,500 Dalton. Drug like phenytoin binds to the hemoglobin. And second one is carbonic anhydrase. In carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, drug are binds to like acetazolamide. And last one is cell membrane. In cell membrane, imipramine and chlorpromazine are reported to bind with the RBC membrane. Now the second binding is binding of drug to the extracellular tissues protein. Here the importance of the binding of drug to extracellular tissues protein, that is, it increases apparent volume of distribution of the drug, and second one is localization of a drug at a specific site in the body. Here the different factors affecting of this drug binding, that is lipophilicity, structural feature of the drug, perfusion rate, and last one is pH differences. When we talk about the binding order, then we can say that liver, kidney, lungs, and last one is muscles. Here the different tissues and that are bind of. First one is liver. When we talk about the liver, then we can say that irreversible binding of exposite of halogenated hydrocarbons and paracetamol. And next one is lungs. When we talk about the lungs, then we can say that basic drugs like imipramine, chlorpromazine, and antihistamine. I will start with complex compounds. What do you mean by complex compounds? Complex compounds are defined as those molecules in which most of the bonding structures can be described by the classical theory of valencies between atoms, but one or more of these bonds are somewhat anomalous, that is different. Now I will discuss about the methods of the analysis. The analysis of the complexes involves the estimation of two parameters. First one is stereoisometric ratio of the ligand to metals or donor to acceptor. And second one is stability constant of the complexes. When we discuss about the methods of the analysis of the complexes, then we find that donor and acceptor, electron drift or partial electron transfer by polarization, that is pi bonding, and n-dimethylaniline and 2,4,6 trinitro anisole, that forms molecular complexes. We will discuss about the continuous variation. It is a method of the analysis. The physical properties such as dielectric constant, refractive index, and spectrophotometric excitation coefficient are characteristics of a particular species. When there is no complexation between these species, that is A and B, the value of property is additive, and this particular behavior is represented in the figure as dotted line. In case of the complexities, these properties changes, that is additive phenomena, do not hold good. And continuous variation, with the help of this graph you can see over here, changes in the dielectric constant on account of the complexation is shown in the figure. Trends indicates a maximum, that is, or minimum. In this, the primary indication of the complexation. At the maximum node, the concentration of the individual species, the stoichiometric ratio of the species represents or presents in the complex can be obtained. In the figure, the change in the slope occurs at the mole fraction of 0.5, indicating a complex of a, that is 1:1 type. Continuous variation of an additive properties, that is dielectric constant, against the mole fraction of the one of the species when complexation is observed. The dotted line indicates the expected value if no complex is the form. The next method is spectroscopy method. Spectroscopy method is very important method. The UV spectroscopy is used extensively in determining rate constant, equilibrium constant, acid-base dissociation constants, etc. for chemical reactions. Now the next method is distribution method. The distribution behaviors of a solute between two immiscible liquids is expressed by distribution coefficient or partition coefficient. When a solute complexes with an added substances, the solute distribution pattern changes depending on the nature of the complexes. A set of such experiments provide data for the estimation of the complexes. Equilibrium stability. Here the best example, iodine complexes with the potassium iodine and campene complexes with benzoic acid. The stability constant for this complex at 0 degrees Celsius is 37.5. We'll discuss about the protein binding. Protein binding is very important point. The phenomena of the complex formation with proteins is called as the protein binding of the drugs. Proteins such as albumin and globulin are present in the blood in decreased state as myocardial infarction. The level of the alpha acid glycoproteins, that is AGP, will increases. Among plasma proteins, albumin is the most important due to its higher plasma concentration. When drugs are present in the blood, it is possible that these micromolecules binds to the drug. As a result, the protein binding influences drug action in various ways. Albumin binds with both acidic and basic drugs. AGP binds most of the basic drugs rather than the acidic drug. Now, here are the different applications of the protein binding. First one is drug distribution, second one is metabolism, and third one is excretion, and fourth one is drug action, and fifth one is sustained release. And I will start with drug distribution. Protein binding decreases the distribution of the drug. Only free, that is unbound drug can pass through the cell membrane and contributes to the tissue binding. The higher the protein binding, the lower the tissue distribution. Next application is, that is metabolism. In metabolism, protein binding decrease the metabolism of the drugs and enhance the biological half-life. Only the fraction of the drug when is free can get metabolized. And excretion, protein binding decreases the renal excretion of the drug and enhance the biological half-life. Only the free drug can excrete it throughout the glomerular filtration. And next one is drug action. When we discuss about the drug action, then we find that the protein binding in, inactivates the drug because of the sufficient concentration of the drug cannot be build up the receptor site for the action. And last one is sustained release. In sustained release, the complex of the protein binding in the blood acts as a reservoir and continuously supply for the free drugs for its action. And protein binding may be divided into two categories. First one is intracellular binding and second one is extracellular binding. In intracellular binding, these receptors which drug interact to show the response are called as the primary receptors, and extracellular binding, these receptors are called as the secondary or silent receptors. Now the here a method of protein binding, that is equilibrium dialysis method. It is very important method. This method is used in determine the extent of protein binding of the drugs. The complexation of the metal ions with macromolecules can also be studied. The assembly of the parameters is pictorial represented in the figure. In this method, the serum albumin is placed in the whisking cellulose tube and drug in different concentration are placed in the outside vessels. As the dialysis continues, the drug molecules permeate through the membrane and enter into the bag. As a result, the drug protein binding is observed and albumin being macromolecules cannot pass through the membrane to outside vessels. As time elapses, more amount of the drug permeates and available in the bag. The binding occurs, the drug concentrations in the bag containing protein should be greater than the concentration in the outside vessels. Error may arise due to the binding of the drug to the membrane. The next method is dynamic dialysis method. It is also very important method. It is an economical method since the amount of the protein required is small. It is a quick method to establish drug protein binding. Here the principle of this method, that is the dynamic dialysis method, is based on the rate of the disappearance of the drug from the dialysis bag, which is proportional to the concentration of the unbound drug. The dialysis process follows the rate law, that is d capital DT by dt is equal to K dF, where dt is the concentration of the total drug and dF is the concentration of the free unbound drug in the bag, and K is the first order rate constant of the apparent permeability rate constant. Periodically, samples are withdrawn from the beaker and dF for the total drug concentration, that is dt, can be estimated. Rate constant, that is K, can be obtained from the slope of a semi-logarithmic plot of the dt versus time. When the experimental is conducted in the absence of the protein, here the experimental, the apparatus consists of a 400 ml jacket with the temperature control beaker into which 200 ml of buffer solution is placed. In the figure, around 7 ml of the drug, that is blank or protein, drug protein solution placed in the dialysis bag and suspended in the buffer solution. The solution is stirred continuously, and during dialysis the free present in the bag permeates through the membrane and reaches to the buffer solution. Such a transporter shifts the equilibrium in favor free drug molecules in the bag. Thus, the drug continuously reaches to the buffer until equilibrium is achieved. Periodically, every 5 or 10 minutes, samples of the solution withdraw from the beaker and equivalent quantity of the buffer solution is returned to the beaker. The amount of the drug present in the solution estimated by the suitable method. I will discuss about the factors affecting the protein drug binding. Here the different factors of protein drug binding. First one is drug related factor. Drug related factor is very important factor. In drug related factor, different factors also mentioned. First one is physiochemical characteristics of the drug. Second one is concentration of drug in the body, and C1 affinity of drug for a particular binding component. I will start with physiochemical characteristics of the drug. In physiochemical characteristics of the drug, we can say that protein binding is directly related to the lipophilicity of a drug, and increase in lipophilicity increases the extent of binding. Now the next one is concentration of drug in the body. In concentration of drug in the body, we can say that alteration in the concentration of a drug substances as well as the protein molecules or surfaces subsequently brings alteration in the protein binding process. And third one is affinity of a drug for a particular binding component. In this way, we can say that this factor is entirely depend on the degree of the attraction or affinity the protein macromolecules or tissues have towards drug moieties. And for digitoxin has more affinity for cardiac muscles protein as compared to that of protein is skeletal muscles or those in the plasma like HSA. Normally, drug protein binding is reversible and involves weak chemical bonds such as hydrogen bonding. Now we can say that van der Waals forces and hydrophobic drug binding, protein binding. Therefore, functional group present in the protein or drugs such as here the different bond OH, C double OH are sites for the interaction. Sometimes irreversible drug protein binding is observed on account of strong covalent binding. This result is toxicity or this result in drug toxicity. For example, acetaminophen with liver proteins and chemical carcinogens. Now the next factor is protein tissue related factor. Protein tissue related factor is also very important factor. In protein tissue related factor, here the different factors also involved. First one is physiochemical characteristics of protein or binding agent, and second one is concentration of protein or binding component. I will start with physiochemical characteristics of protein or binding agent. In this way we can say that lipoproteins and adipose tissues tends to bind lipophilic drug by dissolving them in their lipid core, and the physiochemical pH determines the presence of the active anionic and cationic group on the albumin to bind a variety of the drug. And second one is concentration of protein or binding component. In this way we can say that among the plasma protein binding predominantly occurs with the albumin, and as it is present in high concentration in comparison to the other plasma proteins. The amount of several protein and tissues component available for the binding charges during the disease state. Next factor is drug interaction. In drug interaction, we can say that competition between drugs for the binding site, that is displacement interaction. Here the example D1 plus P that will convert it into D2 plus P, where D1 is displaced drug and D2 is displacer drug. Here the example administration of phenylbutazone to the patient on warfarin therapy result in hemorrhagic reaction, and B1 is competition between drug and normal body constituent. This is also very important factor. In this way we can say that the free fatty acid are known to interact to the number of the drug that bind primarily to HSA. The free fatty acids level increases in physiological and pathological conditions. The C1 is allosteric changes in the protein molecules. This is also very important factor. In this way we can say that the process involves alteration of protein structure by the drug or its metabolite, thereby modifying its binding capacity. And here the example aspirin acetylates lysine fraction of albumin, thereby modifying its capacity to bind acids like phenylbutazone. Now the next factor is that is very important factor, that is patient related factor. In patient related factor, first one is age. In this way we can say that first one is neonates, that is low albumin content are more free drug, and second one is young infants, that is high dose of digitoxin due to large renal clearance, and third one is elderly, that is low albumin, so more free drug. And next factor is inter-subject variability. This is also very important factor. It's caused due to genetic and environmental factors. Now the next factor is disease state. This is also comes in the category of patient related factor. In disease state, we can say that here the different disease influences on the plasma protein and influences on the protein drug binding. First disease is renal failure. In this way we can say that decrease albumin content, and we found that decrease binding of acidic drugs, neutral and basic drugs are unaffected. And next disease is hepatic failure. In this way we can found decrease albumin synthesis, and we found decrease binding of acidic drug and binding of basic drug is normal or depending on AAG levels, that is decreasing AAG level. And next disease state is inflammatory state, that is trauma and surgery etc. In this we find increase AAG levels and increase in the binding of basic drug, that is neutral and acidic drug are unaffected. Now the significance of protein tissue binding of the drug. Here the different significance. I will start with absorption. In this way we can say that as we know the conventional dosage form follow the first order kinetics. So when there is more protein binding then it disturbs the absorption equilibrium. Now the next one is distribution. A protein bound drug in a particular dose does not cross the blood-brain barrier, the placenta barrier and the glomerulus, and thus the protein binding decreases the distribution of the drug. And next significance is that is metabolism. In this we can say that protein binding decreases the metabolism of drug and enhances the biological half-life, and only the unbound fraction get metabolized, for example phenyl butazone and sulfonamides. Now the next significance is that is elimination. In this way we can say that only the unbound drug is capable of being eliminated, and protein binding prevent the entry of a drug to the metabolizing organ, that is liver, and to glomerulus filtration. For example, tetracycline is eliminated mainly by the glomerular filtration. And next one is systemic solubility of the drug. In this way we can say that lipoproteins act as vehicle for the hydrophobic drug like steroid, heparin and oil soluble vitamins. And next significance is drug action. In this way we can say that protein binding inactivates the drug because sufficient concentration of drug cannot be built up in the receptor site for the action. For example, naphthoquinone. The next significance is that is sustained release. In this way, we can say that the complex of drug protein in the blood act as a reservoir and continuously supply the free drug. For example, ceramine sodium protein binding for the anti-triposomal action. And the last significance is diagnosis. In this way, we can say that the chlorine atom of chloroquinone replaced by the radio-labeled 131 can be used to visualize melanomas of eyes and disorder of the thyroid glands. So much for listening me very carefully and calmly.